Howdy, howdy, ladies and lasselmen. How are you doing today?
Who you calling a Lasselman?
Oh, you're the first woman. You're the first man I think of when I think of men. But that's saying something. I can think of Mewtwo.
Damn.
Anyway,
You right.
Anyway, I'm gonna hit him with a car. You wanna see me hit him with a car?
As long as it's not me.
5 points on my license!
Alright.
How you guys doing?
Bye.
So we are gonna make some assets for Artie, because Artie needs stream assets. That's what today's stream's gonna kind of be. Speaking of which, this is probably like the only or first times I've ever really worked with Adobe Premiere on stream. But yeah, I know how to use video editing software. Where do you think all these fun little assets came from? Yeah. Artie needs Artie. Yeah. I made them. All the assets, all the sprites, I made a lot of what this is. I think one of the few things I didn't make is the sprites for the intro, the outro, and this border wall behind me, which is, if I click a couple buttons, oh, that looks a lot more familiar. And if I click another button right here, oh, suddenly that looks a lot more familiar too. But yeah. So, this is... Wait, what? I read Magic School Bus for a moment. I'm sorry, my brain got mixed up. Is Artie an archer or a magic class? I don't know why I read that as Magic School Bus. You know, I might... I might have an idea.
Oh yeah? What's cooking?
I'm just like, could I have Artie appear in the car with me when I do the drive-in? I'm wondering. That's questions for later. But yeah, we're basically going to make a very simple stinger for Artie based off their staff, which we have already grabbed from our files.
Right. You know we get distracted immediately when we stream. What are you talking about?
Yeah, what else is new? We've got Artie's staff right here. Artie, if you want to show off your staff to the chat.
I mean, there's a couple ways I could do that. We'll do this one.
Yee. Oh god.
It's what I use to cast my spells. Also, Abby, you're half encased with ice. I'm sorry.
He's there, they're out here, and I'm the sheriff, and I just realized. Where's the caveman?
Okay, let's make it disappear.
Okay, so basically, that staff wipes across Artie for spells, and this is the exact file that it is. What we're gonna do is we're gonna use Premiere to take this staff and basically make it a stinger transition, because we will export it as a certain file type, and then that file type can be put into OBS as a stinger, and then that stinger, with the proper settings, can do screen wipes and whatnot. Similar to, like my car wipe. How, when I do hit you guys with my car, you'll notice the car wipes from top down in an instantaneous fashion to cause that transition. Or the stinger that I made here has certain disappearing points where the screen is black to reset what's going on and then fades back in as normal. So there are a couple different ways you can do stingers, and this is just the method that I use. So a stinger is a transition file, yes, because basically what we're going to do is, okay, all my homies hate web images, that web image format, but all my homies love the web video format, because the web video format has transparency in it. And we can bake that transparency into OBS with a certain set of settings that would make it basically transition behind like you would a stinger in any sort of media, like in TV shows when they're wiping to another scene with, you know, some comedic object or something during a mid-2000s Nickelodeon's kids show. Or, you know, something along those lines. These stingers are basically all of that baked into one thing that we can use live to transition us between one scene and another. As long as we either figure out the way that it will wipe transition behind the scenes, or if we have a frame or two of moment where that transition can take place over the entire screen. There were a couple other ways to do stingers there, and we're going to keep things relatively simple and either do wipe transitions or screen-wide change transitions. So, that's where we're going to keep things today. Yeah, let me go back to that file and drag it into Adobe.
Don't mind my wookness.
Wook, there it is.
It's a whooper fused with a maractus.
I see.
Because for whatever reason, I got DNA splicers off of a random encounter of GTS.
Huh. So first thing we're
gonna
gonna
work with it.
Yep. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make sure we're working on a 1080p sequence. Because Adobe, all of the sub-files you work with are sequences. Basically, you have a project, which is the overarching file.
Hi, Abby.
I'm back. It's the overarching file, but the sequence files are like the smaller files within it. Sort of like, if I would say in Adobe, in Clip Studio Paint, if I had a file that had a bunch of subfolders in it and whatnot that composite into the final thing that I'm going to send out. Sequences are like those subfolders, sub-items within an item. But we're going to run this. You probably want to do 1080p 60 for this.
Probably.
You stream at 1080p.
Yes.
Yeah. So 980 by 1080p in square pixels, because we don't want any of that weird crud. We don't care about the time code. The color space we're not too concerned about because this is a quick transition. Audio we don't care about because we're not outputting audio. Video previews, it'll just run whatever it wants to run, I don't care. Sequence 1, we will call it that. Because this is a very slapdash and quick thing. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take your staff and drag it in to the scene. We'll time things out. And the transition like this, maybe 1 to 2 seconds. Nothing too crazy, you know? So we'll drag it down there and set it down to this point. And we'll take the staff object over here in the settings. I'm going to go up to scale, which is currently hidden by this. So hold up. Let me move the Discord thingy over so that way it's not in the way. It's going to be working up here in the top left quite a bit. And reduce the scale down on this to a much more moderate amount. And basically we're going to use this section here in our effect controls menu to do the timings of when the object moves from the left side to the right side using keyframes. These keyframes, if you've ever worked with old school Flash, should be familiar to you. And if you didn't work with old school Flash, God bless your soul. But basically, we're going to just slide the position of the staff to places that we want it to be. We want it to appear from the left side into the scene. And then at the next keyframe, we'll have it here. Slowly in. Over to this endpoint. Actually, you know what? It would probably be easier if we don't do these and don't do this and actually just do this. Staff. Oh, because we're a frame after when it wants to end. All the way to the right. Bless you.
I didn't sneeze, I'm laughing.
What did you do?
I got another DNA splicer.
What did you make this time?
Warthoggy.
I see.
War Turtle and Scraggy.
My warthog is tingling. You see. Love you, you dork.
I love you too. I didn't ask for this.
I didn't ask for this. So now we have a quick staff pulls across the screen from left to right. But I want to give it a little bit of life. So we're going to add a couple, like, rotation points. And just vary it between, like, 5... -5... 5... -5... 5. We'll kind of evenly space these out. Doesn't have to be super precise. But now, as your staff goes across the screen, it wiggles a little.
Wiggle, wiggle.
But the center line through which we're going to be doing the transition effect will be still that same center line through the staff because we know it's big enough that it can do that wiggle. Because remember, we want the top and bottom of the screen to be completely covered up by this at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We don't want the viewer at home to see anything. Like we want the whole thing to always be visible in an interesting way. So right. Staff on screen. About 24. 24.5? So, honey, what would you fuse me with?
A legend.
Which one?
You know which one. I was trying to get one in that run.
True.
And I got one.
You did.
I was gonna say, I had a Mega Alakazam fused with a fucking Mewtwo.
I know. It's great.
I already did it.
Do it again.
We'll see if I get a Mewtwo.
Okay. I'm excited. Chat.
Wooktis is evolving.
Whoop, dick, it is. Oh.
It's a Quacktus!
This stupid game!
Man, I went to go water my Quacktus, but it just walked off. Oh my god. That's great. Warthoggy wants to learn Protect. No thank you. I need to fill out my team because I kind of just fused half my team together.
Yeah.
You know what, Dwibble? Fuck you. Get in the ball.
Hey, Dwibble was my main on the League of Legends game. Can't remember what it was.
Unite?
Yeah, that thing. Look, I got Mewtwo. I'm happy. Look. I may be one note. That one note's pretty thick.
Oops, I killed it. Oh well. Strudel? I'm sorry, you're fucked.
Alright, so we have our file of our basic transition. We're going to export this. Now we have to go through Adobe's media encoder.
That doesn't sound fun.
It isn't.
I'm sorry.
So there are multiple ways you can export this file to essentially create what we're trying to create here. You can either export it with a green screen layer and then filter the green screen layer out, but we have the ability to export this with its transparency baked in, and I'm just gonna do that.
Might as well at that point.
Exactly. Format we are specifically looking for is WebM. Wondering, do I have WebM in here? I should. Looking for where it is. It's like part of the MPEG. Okay. I'm wondering if it, in one of its updates, got rid of my WebM encoder.
This is a new event. For me, at least.
What is that?
Wanderingly aimlessly through the sea, you effectively got nowhere. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, that's great. A downpour started.
It's the only one that's not bad that I can do, so... Good job, Quactus. My Quactus saved me at sea. What a good
Nice.
Quactus.
Learned Aquatail.
It's very special that it's physical, though, because it's kind of modest. So, sadly, we'll have to pass up on that. I'm back on track. I entered the sea and immediately got lost, by the way.
Oh, it literally, you walked into the sea tile and it was immediately done?
Why'd you make me so big on your screen?
Because I'm currently looking for the WebM, alpha channel, plugin.
I see? Question mark?
Yeah, because I had to get a plugin back in the day. I think I found it again. Nord, there you are. Yes.
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 Yes, Queen, yes.
Yes. Alright, let me save this file real quick. Now I gotta install this weird plugin. Let me just grab that real quick. Don't worry, I do this so the people at home don't. I put it on the line. I risk installing weird things with this installer. Oh, hey, look!
Linking cord.
I can get 2 spoons! Hon, do you want double spoonage?
Yeah, absolutely, I do.
Yep. I'm gonna be spooning you harder. Twice the amount of spooning. Can you handle it? As I sure as hell can. Oh, you can get a Prima?
Ooh. I've already beat it with it, but at the same time,
It's a
I have
fairy-
2 slots on my team, and it's a fairy type. Yeah.
yeah. It's a fairy.
So,
Alright, I'm gonna pull you back down. We'll see if the
damn,
meeting.
I was hoping for hidden ability. Oh well.
I mean, Torrent's fine.
Torrent's good, but I would have preferred hidden ability.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll find the Mega Band, and then we'll get her 3 more spoons.
I'm gonna get all the spoons. Okay, there we go. And WebM. Cool. Alright, the plugin worked. So now we have the WebM format. We are going to only export video from the WebM format. We want to ensure we include alpha channel. This will make it so that way the video has a pre-baked in alpha channel, which is what allows for transparency. Hit the export button and let our GPU roast for a moment. Cool. So now we have the file. Yay. It is.
Yay!
We have sequence1.webm. There it is. There goes the staff. Alright, so staff stinger. Let's just name it properly. We have our staff stinger. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reveal the magic and show you guys OBS. In scene transitions, we can hit the plus button and
I see every timeline of myself. And you!
Yeah?
Fuck!
We're going to use a slide transition. That is what the proper name of what this transition is. This is a slide transition. And we're going to call this staff slide. So, now we get into the properties of how the staff slide transition works. It's a very basic transition. Kind of get the idea. Oh no, we have to make it a proper stinger. So, staff slide stinger. And then the subtype that it is a slide transition. And then we tell it that video file that we just made, which should be staff slinger. And the transition point comes either at a certain time or certain frame period. So we can kind of figure out how it wants to do this. The thing is, this is a fade. This is an instant fade. This isn't technically what we want. I'm trying to remember. There's like a proper name for it. Is it swipe? No. It's been a minute. I do apologize.
You're fine.
I know, but I'm trying to figure out, because the car is properly set up. So, what are the properties for the car? You, properties, time in, transition point. Oh, it's just a hard transition. Swipe at increased time, possibly. No, because it's supposed to overlay the video. So I remember we did this. We did this exact thing for Pokeathon. Its proper name is a stinger. And if we put the staff in there... Staff is... Why is it not... Don't do any audio here. Don't do a track mat or anything like that. Where is the custom slide stinger? Unless it's the move option. Might be the move option. Hey, you already got my wife. Oh yeah, you got the professor's wife.
Yes.
But yeah, the slide stinger, unless they changed how stingers work to a different format, that might be it. Hold up. Might have had to redo this. Ah, that's what it was. The advanced stingers
Okay, so we know.
plugin. Right. That means I'm gonna have to reload OBS. Great.
Yay.
And basically a stinger transition.
This is something we'll have to like make in the off time, but yeah, there's like a whole system to doing these advanced stingers. We'll have to dig into it some more time, but yeah, we've got at least that basic thing set up, which is good. Alakazam didn't learn how to RP?
Nope.
Sad. Unfortunate. Disastrous.
You can learn later.
Yep. Okay. Alright. Your warthogi turned into a blaggy.
Don't worry about my blaggy.
I only will worry about your blaggy. Very concerned about your blaggy. And have you gotten your blaggy checked out recently?
No.
I think you might need to. Every man should get their blackie checked on now and then. Alright, I'm gonna design you a quick snow. Ugh. But we can use for your screen transition too. So I'm going to make a 1080p file, but in bigger resolution. Because I can do that. And we're gonna do symmetry and pull up 6-way symmetry and just go like so. Actually, no, wait, this should be 12-way symmetry, shouldn't it? Oh my goodness, your blaggy turned into a blafty.
Can't believe my blaggy went blafty. This is why you should get things looked at.
I'm sorry. This is just... Ugh. Alright, let's design a snowflake. Well, would Azure... Okay, if Azure could, they would, like... I was about to say season their snowflakes, but they would make their snowflakes...
Ah, yes, absolutely. Put that salt and pepper on it all day. Give me that garlic onion. That...
I meant, like, for their snowflakes, they would make the crystal design inside something unique to them and flavor them to, like, be something that they would... Now... Yes, they would flavor them. Salt and vinegar. Fucking crying.
I mean, to be fair, if you remember the Majin Phil video, there were purple snowballs, yellow snowballs, blue snowballs, red snowballs.
I am not leaving Way of the Hero items in my snowballs. Okay.
Party pooper.
I am not! Do you want me to?
No.
You sounded like you did.
Maybe. Primarina learned Shadow Ball. Ah, a treasure chest.
Nothing ever bad happened from a treasure chest. Oh god, something bad happening from a treasure chest. Would you like your kobold in a snowflake?
Sure. That
Okay.
sounds fun.
I have to sketch out a snowball. Because this line is gonna just basically come up from here, so I can really only do like one in these 12. I wonder. Do it like this. I am really happy that I have gone down the pathway of like becoming an artist, because being able to like just draw this kind of shit and make my own assets in a pinch is actually just like super based.
It's kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I know, right? This is great. Holy crap.
You're kind of cool, right?
Ah! No!
Sorry, you kind of fell into that one.
I'll fall into your arms tonight. Must have been something you said.
Oh, my blafty's crunching. Did not mean to do that. Oh well.
But like, something like this. This is what I meant by flavoring... flavoring your snow. You, like, would Azure do something like this, where they've got like the staff in the middle?
Yeah. Definitely looks like something what he would do.
Him being the experienced little snow mage he is. Take the file. Whole thing. White. We've got this base file. We're going to make a clone of it first. Move that clone layer a bit to the top left, because, you know, whatever. Then actually what I'm going to do is select the entire layer, the entire object. Well, the entire object as objects, not as a giant selection. Then I'm going to make it the slightest bit blue, and link it to the bottom layer. Got this interesting kind of effect here. Oh, hello, Oricorco. Take the bottom layer, increase you to 200. Then make a duplicate of that bottom layer. Grab that duplicate, make it a darker gray, increase that to 225. But nuke its opacity down. Yeah. Baseline. Let's shard some ice crystals out this. Or we can head back. I don't know. I don't feel well about the ice crystals. Gonna do layer, pull it at the bottom. That. Here. There we go. We've got the snowflake. File,
Right.
save as. 1099-2. Export. PNG 1099-2. Cool. Yay, symmetry tool. The symmetry. It's nice and cool like that. So we have a blue snow that we can basically cover up with the entire dang screen. Alright, so then what can we do with that? Well, we go back to Premiere. Unfortunately. Everybody's worst nightmare. Premiere Pro. Alright, so turn off CSP, turn on the main monitor again. We're back in Adobe! Unfortunately, we are going to take our new file and drag it back over here, and we're going to use a similar methodology in kind of figuring out and planning all this out. By staff. That big snowflake.
No, like,
He could
it's so
do
flaky.
it right. I'm gonna center this man. Actually, this would probably actually be easier if I center the file itself. The file itself being centered would just make this work. Open with paint.net. The easiest trim down I can do. Grab this area, Control I, crop, save, enter. Bring it back over here. And now we've got a second long transition. Similar as to what we did before, we are going to mark position and rotation. And we can get a little festive with this. Would you like to get festive with this?
What you mean by festive?
You know that snow image that snow thing you have for the for your intro of stream?
Yeah.
Can you send me that file? I'm gonna do some magic.
It's technically 2 files.
Send me them. We're gonna have some fun. But basically, we'll start to pre-program that as Artie gets those files for us. This file we're going to do is basically going to do something very similar to what we did before. We're going to mark the ending and beginning keyframes, because, you know. And we're also going to rotate beginning, rotate at the end. Want this to rotate 1.5 times, so that'd be 480 degrees, or 520. Or 540? Rotates too fast. Okay, if that's the case. You pull it back to do a 180. pretty simple. Honestly, I'm probably going to knock it down to a 90. That even feels too fast for a snowflake, so we'll stretch this out to about 2 seconds. What's great is there's a good couple of frames right in the middle where the whole thing is covering up the entire frame. This will be perfect for us.
I'll send you all 6 I have, so that way you can pick and choose. How about that?
Sounds good. And
'Cause,
basically,
there's a lot of different variants.
we're going to take a pre-baked asset, rip the green screen off of it. Which one do you use primarily?
Oh, one's a fire one. Oops, didn't mean to upload that one. Here, I'll just get rid of that one. But the first one is the main one.
This is
And
one
all
that-
the others, like, I have, like... I don't remember which one of the others is overlaid with it, but I have 2 going at the same time, technically.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fade at the beginning and at the end of this. So how do you chroma out the first one, the one with the black background?
I'm pretty sure it's just a transparent background. Let me open my OBS, actually. Let me see how I did it.
So I'm not sure if this file would have an alpha transparency layer built into it. I don't think MP4 has alpha built in. Unless that's a new thing that they've been doing with MP4. When did they update the file format? Like, holy shit, I'll take that. I'll take a dub when I can get it. Yeah, because if it was alpha'd here, yeah, that wouldn't do what it did. So maybe Adobe's not reading the alpha on it. Not sure. Either way, we can go into our effects library that's pre-built into...
Oh, yeah, that's not one of the files I'm using. I think I had problems with it, so I didn't use it.
Ah, that'll do it.
So yeah, it's all the other ones with the green screen.
Yeah. Alright, that's fine. We're going to do some keying here. We're going to do a color key. And we'll just grab the green that it is. Oh, that's awful. The Luma key is not helping here. There's a way to properly green screen out something like this. Ah. Yeah, she's a little crusty on load. But we can make this work. So the great thing is, do a couple layers of this. Kind of do some fun little things here. Basically, we're going to have all these clones of these snowflakes here, but we're going to scale them down super small. Like 10% of what they were. Maybe even less. Maybe like 2%. 5. 4. 4. 2. basically just gonna move this over to 460 here and 460 here. We're gonna move this over to 1120 here. Basically, we're simulating fake snowflakes, other snowflakes, part of it coming down.
Yeah.
They're all so huge! Massive, man! Yeah, so we just basically wiggle these around because this is a 1080p canvas, we can kind of just do that. So, like, you are going to be on 360. You are going to be on, like, 250. I will fake snow my butt. I'm on. Why are you mean to me? What have I done to you? Why?
So many burgers.
What have I done? Is it over?
You would hope.
I would hope. Stinky fox. Look who's talking. Stinky mouse.
Look, I don't know what's going on, but...
Ah, my skull!
Never mind.
Fucking Tom and Jerry, son of a bitch! Ah, I hope you're doing well, Mon. 225. Math. I hate math. I don't want to think about math.
Abby...
What's 75 plus 180? 255. Ah, what's 15 plus 180? 195.
I was waiting to see if you would get it. I was like, this is taking longer than it should.
I'm asking you the questions here, young man.
I thought it was rhetorical because you've been doing everything by yourself. She said 15, not 50.
I'm gonna scream. My GPU is also screaming, so the frickin' stream's gonna get a little chunky. Ugh.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
it was easier, but
You gotta live?
no.
Damn. Can't believe Abby's dead.
Okay.
Who can even use max mushrooms? Blastoise?
Alright, export media. We're going to go back to the WebM format, which has our baked-in alpha channel. We're gonna call
Oh
this
my god.
Snow WebM.
G-Max Blafty.
D-Max Blafty?
G-Max Blafty.
We're G-Maxing our Blafty?
You said I needed to look at it. It's stronger than ever.
Hi. Okay. The file has been rendered. Back over here on OBS.
Oops.
OBS. We're gonna make a stinger. We're gonna call this Snowflake. Add video file. We're gonna go find our Snowflake video file that we just exported somewhere.
Oh, such a flake, eh?
Snow.webm. Alright, we need to find the exact transition point here. So that time will be here at 0213. So that would be 2 seconds, 2 seconds, and then 2/100ths of a second. I think. So that'd be just 2200 milliseconds. Didn't do the alpha channel, though. Did it include the alpha channel, or is it including the alpha channel proper? Alright, Adobe. It's time to fight. I think it's time for us to fight. Why is this WebM not including the background alpha channel? Because, wait a minute. Adobe. Alright. Because if I snowflake myself to another scene,
Why are you flaking?
yeah, it fades to black before transitioning. It shouldn't do that. That's the problem. So, the snowflake isn't getting imported properly into Premiere because the Ultra Key setting in Premiere isn't actually generating black because Premiere, I need to put some sort of thing underneath it to actually tell. It doesn't have any sort of like anything there that has any sort of nicety to it. Because Premiere was made by a corporation that doesn't know what they're doing most of the time. Hi, Zito. Okay.
Why,
Yeah.
Zito?
So, yeah. No, you say you're matting, but you're not matting. Are you? Alright. Because in theory, what should be happening is this video, if I remove the Ultra Key on it, has a green background that should be keyed away. But Ultra Key isn't keying it.
Yeah, it's not doing it at all. It's just making it black.
Ah! Is it composite? What we want? Oh, it was composite is what we want. Okay, cool. Sometimes you gotta flick all the settings to figure out what you want. So this is Snowflake 2. Re-export it, which means stream's gonna stutter because graphics card is doing work. Everyone, I need you all to raise your hands up to the sky and give energy to my 3070 Ti. Yeah, it's actually crazy. This is still streaming fine while rendering a video at 1080p 60 FPS. I'll take that.
That's good. That's good.
Honestly, we'll take that. All right. Back to my OBS. We're gonna go back into the Snowflake file. We'll use the new Snowflake file. And in theory, if I hit the preview button... Oh, that's what I'm looking for. Hit OK. All right. Now, if we move this, hit this button, we should see the scene's transition. So, snow appears, fades in, fades to the next scene. Look at that. All right. I can send you that file. You could slap it in your OBS, and I'll send you the exact settings it needs. And you should have a stringer transition that you can use between certain scenes, so that way it's not just a fade or whatever. Yeah, no, it was a bit of a pain in the butt to recollect all this stuff. But, like, there is a way to do it, and it seems relatively higher professionally than just doing a regular fade, but it's actually not that difficult if you have some knowledge of video editing and image programs. It's just understanding alpha layers, understanding formats, understanding the way files need to be sent from one system to another, which is totally not just like the last 15 years of my life doing this crap. Anyway, yeah.
I think it gives you a refresher on some stuff you haven't done in a minute.
True. All right, let me send you snowflake file, love, and I will send you a screenshot of the settings as well. That should be what you need.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is under OBS as a stinger transition specifically. So when you go to scene transitions, I don't know. Okay, we're showing off the OBS again. Low. Ignore the recursion. Scene transitions is one of the docks that you get. It should be built in.
Yeah.
It's not normally on everybody's thing, but it's a good thing to know. Like, hey, you can choose different transitions. And yeah. Usually, a lot of the time, if you stream with OBS, understanding how studio mode works is really good to make your streams really fancy, because you basically can preload stuff on the left side of the screen. And yes, I know, this is still very recursive as hell. Ignore it for the most part, but you can see that I can kind of do one thing on one side and that's the other, but I can go to another scene, like my intro, and I can make changes there. But what you guys see isn't my intro until I hit a transition to formally bring it in. So if I hit the fade button, now we're in my intro, and I can fade back into, whatever. Basically, studio mode allows you to, oh crap, I need to fix something really quick without being on that scene. Very, very good tool to have. Another thing, hun, I know you got it set up, but I'm putting out the general reminder, for the love of God, please, please, every streamer ever, cloud closed captions. It is just nice to have captions on the stream, and this uses the cloud, as air quotes as that is. It uses Google's text translation API to basically turn everything properly into what's being said. And you can set this not just to be your microphone, but all stream audio too. Once again, very powerful for something like a presentation or streams that are chat heavy, where multiple people are talking and got closed captions on there. Yeah, you got it set up, but it's a good thing to have. And then also another trick of the trade for any people watching is the move transition. So the move transition, if I have elements that are the same in this scene as they are in another scene, the move transition will, instead of fading from one to the other, will slide the elements into place. It's good for shifting between similar scenes with different layouts. Like, we're going to move to kobolds, and then I hit the move transition properly on that. You'll see how the VTubers slid down into the corner. Everything else slid off to the side of the screen, and the new stuff slid in from the other side. Once again, a really cool tool to have, and using it a little creatively can do some really cool stuff. Just things to know about OBS. Yeah. The other thing about OBS is a lot of people don't know that you can add individual audio sources and do the mixing via OBS, rather than just capture direct audio sources from, whatever your computer's outputting, or whatever your capture card's outputting. Once again, good tools to have, good tools to know about. All sorts of fun stuff there if you're creatively minded. Now, the other thing that I wanted to do, now that we've gotten you a stinger, so that way you can transition between your intro. Honestly, I like your intro. Just your picture of your kobold with the snow. That's why I kind of did this stinger, is because you could just overlay that stinger on top of your intro, and it fades in naturally, so nobody notices the extra snowflakes coming in. And then the big snowflake comes in, swaps to your actual scene, then you keep going from there,
That's true. I'll give you that.
If you did an outro, you could do the same thing, where your outro is a similar screen to your starting screen, and the snow fading out from the stinger would fade naturally into the snow appearing as part of the outro screen. A lot of words, all at once.
Words.
My mouth's full of words.
I understand what you mean, though.
Okay, cool. But, it is my job to make confusing technology sound simple. As part of an IT who interfaces directly with a customer, This is also another thing that is a general PSA for the people who watch my streams who are probably more technically minded. If you are in IT and you interact with a customer, whether you're a system admin, service admin, or anything like that, knowing the ways to explain to a customer on their level what the problem is and what the solution is going to be your most valuable asset. I have pretty much, by being the person that I am and the tech that I am, I can walk into any of the banks that I work for on my side of the state. They will know me and they will love me. How many times have I gotten free candy or pizza or soda or like just free stuff from the banks that they're like, you know, hey, we love it when you come over, you fix stuff, you explain stuff clearly. Do you want a pizza or something? Like, how many times does that happen to me? It is because I focus on the customer relationship and being able to translate things into layers that make it so anybody can ingest it. It is the most valuable asset anybody working in that kind of business can have, is explaining things on such a fundamental and rudimentary level that even the 70-year-old clerk who swore off, you know, the Alexa device that keeps telling them the weather, that they can get it. They may not want to use it or may not understand it still, but they can get it. And I think that's incredibly important. Anyway, what the hell am I doing for my stream? Hell if I know. I just know I've been using the same assets for like 3-4 years now. And like, I wanted to build out something that was more like, okay, so like my whole aesthetic is that I am, well, my original aesthetic when I first debuted Abby as a VTuber was all about, ooh, recursion again. Yay. Nice dog. My whole aesthetic when I first debuted Abby was all about her being a wild Pokemon and showing up, and the whole lore behind the VTuber, because back when everyone was getting into initial VTubers, everyone built out like some lore to it. If I knock down the wall behind us, like that is Viridian Forest. That grass in the front of there, if I remove the filters on them like we showed off earlier, is just the grass from the sprites at the beginning of the Gen 3 Fire Red Leaf Green intro. So like the whole stream's aesthetic is built around this underlying Pokemon theme, but it also kind of sub-conflicts with the intro and outro of streams, where my intro is, you know, a Genesis palette Abby in a Genesis sprite scale Veloster driving away from the Outrun 2019. Yes, the game took place in the future 6 years ago. I love it. It's a stupid game. You know, the cityscapes from that game. And the ending... Ooh, excuse me. Stop the music. There you go. The ending is obviously a very early sprite art of me that I made before I even did my daily art of what is essentially a subway car and Abby sitting in the subway car basically going against the Streets of Rage intro. And I think that the thing that I want to focus on is locking into one aesthetic or the other rather than being in the middle, because I kind of give like mixed messages when it comes to how this stream is supposed to be coming across. Am I a wild Pokemon who is being a Pokemon, or am I a gamer girl being a gamer girl standing in front of some woods in the middle of nowhere like it's a what was that late 90s early 2000s Blair Witch, like a Blair Witch Project thing. And like, while I kind of skate the aesthetic and don't really do anything with the aesthetic, I don't really go corporate brand VTuber stuff on this. I still want to like a sort of a consistent theme, so when someone comes here, there's a general like overall theme that reflects on me as a person. And while I love and go on constant rants about my Genesis, I also love the Pokemon franchise. So in a way, the aesthetic works, but it's not coherent. It's not conducive. There's no like corporate VTubing is like a scam 99% of the time. There are actually some good VTubing networks. Like I know Frederick Knudsen and his like VTubing scene with Astral Line. They're cool. Fred is the guy who does down the rabbit hole videos. They're a cool friend. I know that VFur and that general community is overall a very healthy environment when it comes to how things are. Like, and those are both networks that I'm relatively, like, around. I don't interact with anything HoloLive or all of that. I don't know any of that stuff. I don't touch any of that. Like, I don't care about the corporate VTubers. If they're cool people, they're cool people. That's fine. So it's like, how do I want to present myself on the internet? And that's an interesting and somewhat deep question. Because I'm an old head on the internet, you know? I've been Abby for 15 years. On the internet itself, I've been here for 20. Maybe 25, almost. Depending on if we're going to count dial-up days and welcome, you've got mail. So that's kind of the... Where do I put myself on this? Where do I want to land my aesthetic that is coherently me? That is a good representation of me, and I can accent off of and build of while creating a fun viewing experience. Like, right now, my viewers can throw Pokeballs at me because, you know, ha 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 ha, Pokemon. But, like, they can throw metal pipes and burgers at me, too. And that's not exactly coherent, unless you really hate the Pokemon Abra, and every time you see it, you want to see that cute fucking face get hit with a goddamn Big Mac. Oh, my pets!
Uh-huh.
My pets have turned into a Baja!
Thanks, I was thirsty.
No! Later. Jesus!
Yeah, you deserve that.
Thanks, Lars. But
How
like,
you doing?
that's the thing, is where do I land this
My
aesthetic?
rage for Abra is unquenchable. She gets all the meat.
Chilling, taking notes. Ah, what, like about how the whole aesthetic thing comes across and whatnot? Yeah, no, that's the thing. How to lock in the aesthetic properly? Do I continue to skirt the Genesis line and kind of live by those roots? Do I skirt more the general Pokemon audience thing and lean more into that, even though I kind of... when it comes to being a Pokemon in general on the internet, like, everyone knows what I am and what I'm doing. Like, just like you can't look at, like, a streamer that is, like, a massive Arcanine and they just call themselves a Fire Dog all the time. It's like, yeah, you're a Fire Dog, alright. You're a Hellhound, alright. We know what that design is. We all acknowledge what that design is. And, like, she's great. She's wonderful. Watch Sephora. But, like, we know what we are. We are what we are. We are not going to not be what we are. Is it better to explore that aesthetic and dive deeper into it? Or is it better to skate around it and not worry about the copyright? I don't think Nintendo's ever gone after a streamer that is a VTuber Pokemon. I don't think that they would cross that line. Because if they were to cross that line, they would have crossed that line previously in different ways that we would have seen. There were a lot of early creators that were directly like Pokemon in their name or something like that, or used a Pokemon to heavily advertise themselves. But the only time I've ever seen the copyright hammer come down on Pokemon stuff is when you're directly making a profit off of the IP while not contributing something to it in Japan's copyright legal way. And that's kind of the tricky bit. what is the copyright laws in Japan, and is what I'm doing with my image enough of a change to legally be separate from that. And on top of that, if I lean more or away from that, is it safer to lean away from than it is into, even though everyone kind of knows what's going on? Fair use? It's not fair use. No, it's a weird line. It's a weird line, and the problem is the furry community straddles it constantly. And that's kind of the community that we're in. Is, where does all this land? Where does the furry community land? Where does the copyright laws land? Do they even care? Do they even want to start that battle? So that's the thing there. There were times where, Artie, you probably remember this, where I actually wanted to redesign Abby to be less Abra-like.
You wanted it more like a fox.
Yes. And I want to still kind of do that, but I still want to be Abby. Like, it doesn't take a lot of modifications to make her back to what she is. But that's the thing, is like, how many steps away from Abra can I get Abby while it's still Abra? Aberdeen is pretty dang close to that goal. True. I could just, like, y'all be like, oh, hey, we're gonna make another VTuber if everything goes south, and be like, all right, I'm Aberdeen now. And that's it. We keep rolling. But, you know.
Would never want to have to go there, though. I mean,
exactly.
To be fair, that's kind of why I have both Azure and Artie, was because of a reason like that. But at the same time, like, that's when VTubing was earlier on. Like, we didn't know how, like, corporations like Nintendo would react to it, kind of thing.
Because, like, being Abra isn't, like, a move to infringe on Nintendo's IP. The whole thing isn't that. It is because of my immense respect for Abra. If you ever wanted to read the why is it this Pokemon 2-3 pages, like, I can give you some summation. I just need to turn on my camera as to why I am this Pokemon, but there's like a whole document. 2 documents out there. Basically, it comes down to this right here. This little Abra card from my childhood on the back of a Lunchables box from 1998 is the whole reason that I am Abby. This little guy right here. Keep it in my wallet, because it is the reason I have gone down this path and found a lot of my life, is this specific Lunchables card. Because it gave me the connection that I initially had with the Pokemon Abra, which I attached heavily to as a child because we were very similar. We were both pacifist, we both had poor eyes, we were both smart, and we both slept a lot. And then when I needed to find an identity online, it was the thing that I found, and I started to kind of gravitate into, and more into it, I discovered that I was still very similar to Abra even as an adult, and that went down its own whole rabbit hole. And now, I'm a good girl.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, you know, like, it is a whole ass journey associated with it. But that's the thing. It's not about me trying to cop off of Nintendo's IP. Believe me, I am about 1/10 of the entire Abra community. when it comes to, like, the people that generate Abra anything out there. But, like, it's because the Pokemon was essentially a friend when I had none and stuff like that. Something you could try.
Understand that.
What?
Can understand that.
Yeah. The Fox Abby could definitely be something that you could reach, drawing Abby's different fox types from real foxes, anime game foxes, and aesthetic I could vibe with. You mean when you wanted to rebrand our identity online? There were a few times when I did. Because the old Blade 9932 is me dumping a lot of that old life. A lot of that red versus blue era stuff. A lot of the late 2000s, early 2010s internet. And that was when I originally started being Abby. Or Abra. And then 5 years into that, I had someone call me Abby shorthand. And that's when everything went downhill. And now I take estrogen. Speaking of, I think it's almost time for the afternoon stuff. Because I took the morning stuff before we went downstairs and made lunch. The Abra to trans girl pipeline is real. That's the funny thing. I am not the only trans girl Abra.
You're far from the only one.
There are quite a few of us. This stinky, weird, yellow, mustard-drinking fox has converted quite a few people to trans girls. I was just one of the first. Are there multiple in your Discord?
Yes.
Connie, Amy. I don't think anyone else is truly, like, definitively there. Wait, Goopy, you're an Abra? When'd that happen? You get play into the drawing? Like you're an actual kitsune, like a fox with psychic powers and a fox, maybe a fox spirit. I don't want to be a fox spirit. I specifically don't like the death and afterlife aesthetics when it comes to self-representation. But that's just a personal preference. What's with Abra trans girls liking mustard, though? Yellow. We just like yellow liquid. Yellow, viscous, vinegar-based liquids. Yeah. Yeah, it's like yellow like Abra, exactly. So that's like, you know. If I was a kitsune, I would be a very much alive kitsune, not a spirit of a kitsune or anything like that. I am physical, I am manifested, I am here, and I am here to cause problems. I feel like that's where I would land. And I don't want to be a spirit or, like, have some, like, sad backstory that I died or something like that. And while, yes, the multiple tails would be cool, I am fine with just the one. Because sometimes simpler is better. And at least that's how I feel about my OC's tail. Maybe Aberdeen might go further down the actual Kitsune line in Pathfinder and get into multi-tails. But, like, I like mine. Normal fox that has psi powers, which reminds me how Senti made his matcha seer race of cats. I am playing the Nine-Tailed Sorcerer right now in Wrath of the Righteous. True, but I don't have multiple tails sticking out my butt. It's just the one. Yeah. Yet. Oh, is that a thing later? Like, I'm okay if that's like a character development thing later on. It's just right now I'm okay with. I personally, as my OC, I would like the one. I think that's where I'm okay with it. Aside from that, I would rock a kimono. Oh, 100%, girl. I am rocking a kimono. And if I'm going into a full-figured kitsune, I'm going into a full-figured kitsune. So, you know. I am going to rock that kimono dangerously. And if I was going to keep the colors of Abra, I would definitely keep the colors because I like the soft yellows. My favorite color may be blue, but I think soft yellow is just a wonderful like cream aesthetic design. I think I would go with that. And like the tentacle swarm of tails, I remember some foxes like to fuse all the tails into one. I would be okay with a big floofy tail rather than a bunch of individual tails. I think that would be it. Oh, that's a cute Hakamo. But yeah, that's where I'm kind of at with my aesthetic is, do I dive deeper into Pokemon stuff? Do I stick with my more Genesis-y roots? Or do I try and get diverted away from the gaming stuff altogether and go my own direction? Oh, it's a Hakamo? Sorry, there's still a lovely bean. That whole line is probably some of the best dragons we've had in years. Yeah. I guess that's the thing then. Which way do I take my aesthetic and where do I go as a creator? I want to always... I want to always make sure I'm kind of sticking similar to my wheelhouse before. I'm never going to get away from my love of sprite animations, my love of... Even though I have no ability to do them on my own, sprite animations. I should probably start to dig into doing sprites more properly. I would love to be able to do little sprite animations, but I'm still learning how to be an artist. I just had my first shitpost blow up on social media. So that's kind of the thing, is... Where do I go? Why are you exploding? Is that a Reshiram? I think it is a Reshiram. It's not anymore. Alright. You enjoying yourself? Hello? Oh, how much of a dork can I be while I'm like this? Hold up. Are you happy? Balls. Don't turn me into a delicious, refreshing beverage. Available for $2.99 at Taco Bell. Or $1.39 during happier hour. Alright, let's darken the lights again real quick before I forget. There we go. Now we're back to our old aesthetic. Okay. What to do from here? I wanted to talk about it, but I still don't really know if I have a direction at this point for where I'm going to take myself and my online presence. But I'll figure it out. For sure, I'll figure it out. Yeah, that I'll just stick to what I've been running for the last whatever, and nobody will care. Every stream from now until the next 20 years from now, get hit by a car. Yeah, that or I get the artistic skill to, like, animate my own ass intro. Should be freaking cool, but I'll be like 47 by the time I'm at that level. Boy, I can't wait to already be suffering through arthritis. Ma 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 ma. Ba 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 baran. Why? What the fuck? No! No, stop it! Put those away! No! 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 Stop it! Stop throwing orbs at me! No! Stop! I can't! Oh! No, I'm too big now. I gotta move myself down here. There we go. I love this stupid thing. Alright. I don't want to be big. Why are you scrolling over there? Hold up. Come here. Okay. Artie's in the bathroom. I don't know what to do. This sounds like a lead into a board game. Hold up. Artie's in the bathroom. I don't know what to do. Time to bust out a new game of Clue. Wait a second. Is Flux running on the computer? What in the heck? Ah, now the screen's white. I'm not gonna tease Artie in the bathroom. I have decency. Oh, well, we're back. Alright, kids. No, I can't be masked.
What have you done? Why have you done this? Coming for you. I'm gonna find you. And when I get you, I'm going to get you. No!
Stop, but put your gigantic balls away. Okay. I'm okay. I'm normal. I'm normal. I pay a mortgage. I got taxes. Guys, Artie's about to show back up. I want you all to say hi when he gets back in and tell him that he's cute. Be honest. Talk about how wonderful he is. Give him the love. Give him the joy. All right. You know what? What do I want to do today? What the hell do I want to do today? Because I've run out of steam. Somebody had a suggestion. Right. We were going to sit in a call with Side and quickly plan some stuff out if they were available. I could poke Side. No, actually, wait. Poke Side, because I know Side's around. I got time? You got time? Can I add you into a call? So I think we already have a group chat. Ah. Okay. It's time to start writing. Chat, get out your papers and pencils. Today we write a Lucario. Hi, Side.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I am okay. Hope you folks have been doing alright. I did take a poke around various Pathfinder stuff when it comes to having a curse,
Mm-hmm.
which is basically what Artemis has got in Continent of Steel.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that comes up to mind...
Can't believe Abby abandoned me.
I didn't abandon you. I invited you here.
Hi, Side.
Hello!
How you
How
doing,
you-
Glendale?
I am pretty good, actually. I have a one-shot later, but in the meantime, I'm all yours. Oh wow, the place looks fancier than I remembered on stream. Anyways.
What, the town hall?
Yeah, I don't think I've seen every room yet.
I mean, there are bedrooms and stuff in there. Like, you haven't, walked into everybody's bathroom yet.
I sure haven't yet.
Yet, I don't know. Well, hopefully you don't have to.
But yes, I did start looking around for curse-related stuff.
Mhm.
The first thing that comes to mind is, of course, werewolf curses, or were creature curses. But I'm not sure if that's exactly what you would want, Artemis.
I mean, yes, moreover, depends what it does.
Let me actually go and find the actual curse.
Oh, I stopped playing Poke Rogue for now so we could focus, Abby. Sorry.
You're fine. I can. Boink. Cool.
Let me see. Like, for example, if I click on any of the were creatures in the bestiary, there we go. On each full moon, the cursed creature must succeed a save or turn into a were creature until dawn. The creature goes under the GM's control and goes on a rampage for half the night before falling unconscious until dawn.
Also, Artie, you're not back yet.
Oh, I'm gonna be getting up and walking around for a second. You know that.
True.
Oh, no point in bringing me back yet.
Okay. Also, chat has decisively called you cute.
Damn straight I am.
They do be a pretty cute kobold.
Okay, so where creature isn't really going to fit for this because it doesn't really give any stat boost or anything like that. It's just make a fortitude save. Like we can keep that or we can make a note of that fortitude save business and be like that's the instigator as to whether or not something has control.
Yeah, it's like basically the fort save is like preventing your body from turning is the idea. Yeah, I'm trying to find like the actual like disease.
Lycanthropy?
Yeah, hold up. There we go. Were creatures as player characters, that might be what we're looking for.
Okay.
There we go. Groups that wish to include playable were creatures with all the ensuing drama and drawbacks could use Beastkin as a starting point, yada yada yada. GMs and players should probably work together when doing this, however, as the Moon Frenzy will cause the player to lose control of their character for some time, setting boundaries in expectation is important. Yeah, now let me go take a look at Moon Frenzy itself.
Moon Frenzy. A feral aspect overcomes the targets, filling them with strength and ferocity. Targets gain 5 temp HP and a 10-foot status bonus to their speeds, and a weakness 5 to silver. They also grow vicious fangs and claws, which are unarmed attacks. The fangs deal 2d8 piercing damage, the claws 2d6 slashing damage, and have agile and finesse. Targets use their highest weapon or unarmed attack proficiency with these attacks, and if they have weapon specialization or greater weapon specialization, they add this damage as well. On critical hit of those armed attacks, the creature struck takes 1d4 bleed. The targets can't use concentrate actions unless these actions have a rage trait, with the exception of C. A creature can attempt to end the spell on itself by using a single action, which has the rage trait, to attempt a will save against the spell DC. On success, the spell ends. If a target is in the light of the full moon, it also grows one size if it were medium or smaller. This increases the reach of a medium or tiny creature by 5 feet.
So obviously, you don't want, like, to have claws coming out all of a sudden, because that doesn't really make sense for you. However, something that you were going to do was damage equal to half your level, which is how actually a spell that I personally want to use on Snafu works. So it would be balanced. It's a focus spell. It's the... I don't think it's on Archives of Nephis yet. It's Draconic Barrage. It might be on
It is.
Foundry.
You shape energy into a small group of tiny dragons or other serpentine creatures that flit around you. Choose fire, force, mental, or spirit damage when you cast a. This is this is little shoot my babies at you. Dragon.
Except, not really. Whenever you're striking with weapons or unarmed attack, which is the reason why I wanted on Snafu, you deal 1 additional damage of the chosen type, and of course it's heightened to half your level because it's a focus spell, so the damage increases to be equal to half your level.
Okay, so you guys being at level 2 would only get a +1 on this, but when you're at level 20, it's a +10.
Yeah, which is also how, if you use the Aura Sphere spell that I designed, that would stack on top of it. Because when you're burning up and you touch somebody, they take damage as well. At least if I remembered to design it correctly.
Okay, so we would be taking aspects of the were creature's uncontrollability with the damage buffs of Moon Frenzy / Draconic Barrage.
Yeah, basically you'd want to be, I'm assuming, dealing an extra force damage bit.
And I guess it would be with what Artie is attacking with. Because if he's coming up and punching you, then would that be force damage or would that just be bludgeoning from an unarmed attack?
It
Like with
depends. It depends on the rule set you're using. It's completely optional with the Pokemon Homebrew, whether you want punching to count as bludgeoning or as fighting type damage. That's up to you as the GM.
I mean, it would count it as fighting type damage.
Then yes, that would be force, which is honestly, it doesn't even matter what the base damage of the punch is. This is just extra force damage added in on top.
Okay.
That is basically how I was going to also flavor Mega Evolution, which I'm still a work in progress, because that's kind of what happens when you Mega Evolve in Super Mystery Dungeon. You kind of lose control after walking around for long enough, like you get into a fever pitch, you lose control, and you attack any allies nearby.
I see. So you cannot exploit being a Mega for long. Now, and that is why in the canon Pokemon games they use a Ascending Crystal and a Receiving Crystal to focus that into something that is controllable.
But yeah, that's about it. All I could think of is another thing I could think of doing is balancing it like the curse-bound state of the Oracle class, which is whenever you're using a Oracle major ability, you become slightly more cursed. And every time you increase in level, it has like a different effect that is a negative downside. So the more you abuse your powers, the more debuff that becomes bigger.
But rather than it growing on subsequent uses, it grows on level. So the risk grows as you, the character, grow.
Yeah, I would have recommended making it grow up in the same way Cursebound does, which is every time you transform, you just become slightly more and more Cursebound. One of the first example I can think of is the Curse of the Mortal Warrior, which is, at the first stage, spells have an easier time wounding you, you gain weakness to any damage dealt by spells, and so on. Then at level 2, you take a penalty to saving throws against spells. Level 3, your weakness becomes equal to your level. And finally, at the final stage, your penalty to saving throws against spells becomes -2, which is, both of these together are horribly debilitating.
Yeah.
Which is typically why you won't see an Oracle, like, spamming their focus spells constantly the same way a monk would. Is because they don't want to deal with that.
Exactly.
But it does.
That makes sense.
But the idea about Cursebound State is also you're taking 10 minutes to refocus, and that completes to get rid of your Cursebound State. So it just goes back down to 0.
Oh.
Which is kind of like when you're raging, you're taking 10 minutes to calm down.
So it's a penalty, but it only stacks per battle, and after battle resets.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's like, how far do you go in this fight, and how far do you think you can go safely?
Another one that is an example of Oracle curses is the Fire Mystery Oracle. They just take damage every turn equal to their curse-bound state. Like, nothing crazy. It's not complicated. Doesn't have to be like debuffs to your saving throws or weaknesses. It's just you're slowly burning up.
Okay, so let's take a notepad here.
Yeah, I agree, because there were a few listed off all in quick succession.
Yeah, you know what? I actually wrote it down in the notepad myself. Let me just copy-paste it.
Okay. Because I want to go over what specifically happens when Artomis does the shift. So this would be the shiny shift,
Correct. Which
is basically a beta form of going mega. At least mechanically for what we're setting out to do here.
So, yeah, something you could do is having the curse-bound state just stop having an effect at the end of combat, but it keeps staying there until the end of the day, if you really want it to last the entire day. And then every time Artomis goes into the crazy shape again, like the second time, they become Curse-bound 2. The third time, Curse-bound 3. And the fourth time, Curse-bound 4. And of course, it always goes away at the end of combat, so it's not like this horribly debilitating thing that you have to deal with all day.
Yeah. So what specifically happens when Artie shifts from blue to yellow? Specifically, they go from adamant to modest. Specifically speaking, that is what happens when he shifts. He shifts from a physical build to a ranged build. If that's the case, then we could have the curse apply to something like his physical attacks, where we go through a curse-bound state system, and as he dives bigger and bigger into his shiny state, he gets more and more of a range. He gets less and less ability to do things in melee. Would that sound accurate, hun?
the thing is I don't know if that's possible to really do with this setup, because as a fighter, it's not like I get a selection of many spells.
How about you get infinite focus points whilst you're in that state?
If you do that, then I have a chance.
Yeah, because then you
I
can...
can just shoot aura spheres like mad.
Exactly.
So basically you would activate the curse-bound state, but every aura sphere you send off sends you further and further away from your core class being a fighter, but you're able to shoot off infinite aura balls. But obviously this will take a toll on your body.
And at that point you could apply the effect that Wormkin's Draconic Barrage does, which is you just add an extra damage bonus to your aura spheres equal to half your level. Just heightened like that.
Right. Pretty much spell level equals additional damage.
Yeah, it's literally how it scales. It's just when I'm punching somebody with Draconic Barrage active, I just deal 1 extra damage.
Yeah, I think
Per
that's
level.
fair.
Okay, so 1/2 level to DMG. Okay. So, infinite focus points. But that means that if we're going to have something that you could shoot off infinitely, we need some sort of system that could scale in that opposite direction infinitely. Because if we only put like 4 states of negativity there, once you're at like 4 curse bound, there's no reason not to keep firing it off. You're not building a bigger penalty. You're already at the most penalized state. You might as well just go with it. So I would rather a negative be something that will still be under effect the 20th aura sphere you've sent out, you know? Like
How about...
it's going to just be more and more detrimental the more you use it, you know? Where the
How
risk gets
about-
bigger and more dangerous.
Because fights are not gonna typically last much longer than maybe 5 turns
Yeah.
on average.
You hope.
Yeah, you hope. So it's like, if I had 3 focus points, which it is very feasible for a monk or a cleric or an oracle, any classes that has focus points, I'm rarely ever going to use up all of them in one fight. I would have to be casting the focus spell every turn and not doing anything else. No support, no spells, no nothing. So, something I was thinking is... Yeah, no, it should still be stacked at 4, Cursebound 4. Because, like I said, you're having infinite focus points, essentially, is not that much of, like, a crazy buff. Because you're rarely ever gonna cast focus spells more than 3 times anyways.
Yeah.
And then your Cursebound bonus could be something like -1 status penalty to saving throws, and -1 AC, equal to the Cursebound level. So it just stacks at 4, which is pretty damn debilitating, but not like going to kill you debilitating. Like, you're a fighter. You got the best AC progression in the game.
But it's still going to set you back to, you know, and
Like,
remove
if
one of your
you're-
biggest things.
Like, if you're legendary in armor, taking a -4 basically makes you expert. Which is what Ferris is going to end the game at. They're going to end the game at expert in unarmored defense.
Yep. So if
No.
Artie becomes legendary with that equipment, they would still be on the same level as everyone else at Cursebound 4.
Which he does. Fighters just do in general, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just a thing that fighters get. Progression is always the same for every class. Like, you don't need to worry about picking a specific feat to get proficiency in something, you just get it.
Now, there is one feat I'm probably going to get later down the line, but that's later.
I know what you have planned.
Uh-huh.
We can never get away from that franchise. I don't know if that's the feat you're talking about, though.
We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'll say.
Uh-huh. Okay, so
I have a lot of plans in store.
Cursebound level equals negative penalty to saves and AC. Okay. So, basically, for the trade of getting infinite focus points, you become more and more easy to hit.
So how does the Cursebound scale?
It goes through 4 stages every time you use a focus point, then, wouldn't it?
If you're in, like, whenever you transform and you start casting Aura Sphere, it would go up by 1. You cast it
Okay.
again, would go up by 1 again.
Got it.
Like, you could start with 0 focus points, essentially, and use that to shoot back up to have infinite.
Yeah, you get your anime recharge as you glow yellow, literally.
That's fair.
Now,
And also, to be fair, the only time he would probably use it is a last resort thing. If he sees, like, people on his side are, like, having a hard time, and they're also dealing damage to him, but it's just not enough to push it above and beyond, yeah, he would probably do it to do that.
Now, some of the other examples that I listed was example 4. If you're Cursebound 4, you additionally can't speak or use linguistic effects or otherwise communicate to allies, still cast spells, but you're stupefied 1. If Abby really wanted to give you, like, a terrible penalty for, like, going way overboard with your stuff, that would be it. Or confusion.
I would say... In mid-combat, the problem is confusion. Can confusion make you airball, or is it only on selectable targets around you?
So, the way confusion works in Pathfinder,
Yeah.
you attack anyone nearby, and if you can't attack anyone, you attack yourself.
Would Artie, in the thralls of that rage, in the thralls of his mind, get to a point where he would attack himself? just standing out there confused, literally like Pokemon confusion, smacking himself.
To be fair, I could see that.
So at Cursebound 4, gain confusion until long rest.
No, you don't want to make it until long rest because you, the GM, literally control the player when they're confused.
Okay. So it would be more of a gain 1 level of confusion, it resolves, but every time you bump against that Cursebound wall. So let's say you're at Cursebound 4 and you use a focus point,
You gotta roll again.
you're back in confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah. And confusion goes away after you use one action to, like, smack yourself in the face or smack somebody nearby.
Pretty much. So at Cursebound 4, gain confusion. Any more focus points used, gain confusion. Okay. So, Cursebound 1 to 4, you're basically taking bigger and bigger penalties to your ability to not get hit. And then once you've hit Cursebound 4, you're confused. You can snap yourself out of it, but you're already in the thralls of that rage, so proccing it again sends you back into it. Like, it sends you back into that confused state. So, like, if there was a pack of enemies that showed up, and you're at Cursebound 3, you could literally just, like, charge into the middle of all those enemies and pop Cursebound 4 and just be like, oh, well, I don't care. Everyone around me is a target because everyone around me is an enemy. You're all going down, you know?
Oh, I will say there are other abilities I have aside from my Aura Sphere. Keep in mind that this is also the changing into my Sentinel stance as well.
Right.
So I get a melee attack that I can do from like 90 or 120 feet, something like that. And it just fires projectiles at somebody and does, I believe, 1d4 damage plus force damage.
So
Yeah.
anybody within that force or a bubble of your
It's
available
just a single
targets,
target.
but any target in that area is a valid target. Which
Yes,
means I
and that's
basically
just a regular attack.
and then I basically have to roll like a 1d17 of how many people are there and be like, all right, Johnny, you were number 14. Sorry, you're getting shot by the dog's laser. I'm okay with that. Are you okay with that?
I mean, that's how confusion works.
Dog has
It
chosen
literally
you
is.
today.
I will say, however, confusion doesn't go away on its own by default. It's like every time you take damage, you attempt the DC 11 flat check to recover from the confusion and end the condition, but you could change it to be whatever you want to be. You know, if you hit an ally, it goes away instantly, because Artemis feels terrible about it.
I would say it goes away at end of turn. Resolves at end of turn.
Alright.
Because it's like those 6-second beats are when you finally get to take a breath in and analyze what you've just done before going into the next thing you're doing. So I will let it resolve at end of turn, but if you go back in, that means if you use a 2-action focus something in the first part of your turn, activate that confused state, and then your next thing is an attack, you're just attacking anybody on that attack because that's carrying the confusion from the Cursebound 4.
Now, does that regular attack also proc Cursebound, or is it only the Aura Spheres because they just deal a lot of fucking damage?
It's anything that uses a focus point, I believe.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then it's just the Aura Sphere.
Yes, but
Because the regular attacks don't like change all that much, but it's the bonuses from Starlight Sentinel that I get from all that shit.
exactly. So you have to weigh attacking first against using the first force point first, because you use a
Okay.
first point to activate Starlit Sentinel's abilities, correct?
No.
Ah, that's just a bonus action?
They're just added to my abilities because I am going into my Sentinel stance.
Okay. So it's a stance you activate, which would be like a 1-action thing.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. This is why we have friends who study other parts of tabletop modules, because there ain't no way in hell I would know all of this.
I have a problem.
Aside, you are a wonderful being. And you, honestly, last night, you really did help make that gun shine in new fun ways. I got to roll a bunch of die.
I just used it in Foundry for you, the Starlit Sentinel transformation.
Okay. Frequency once per hour. You basically transform when in Sentinel form. The transform weapon. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So I would say then doing this transformation basically sets you to curse bound 0 and starts the condition.
That's fair.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. And then at curse bound 1, debuffs and buffs start to scale.
Yeah, because this whole Draconic Barrage damage bonus is
It would
basically
get added on top of all this, and that's what's causing the effect on me.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
Starlit
that makes
Sentinel
a lot of sense.
activates. Artie gains curse bound 0 and infinite focus points. Using a focus point increases the curse bound level up to 4. If I could actually type out all of curse bound, that'd be great.
Let me just put this up here.
All attacks and spells used in this state gain 1/2 of level 2 damage. So we can get rid of the draconic bit because now that's properly accounted for. For this up here, we get this properly bit. Silent Sentinel activates. Already gains curse bound 0, infinite focus point. Using a focus point increases curse bound level up to 4 from 0. All attacks and spells used in this state gain 1/2 of level 2 damage. So half of your level added on top of your final damage number. There are no benefits to AC at this time. You are not more accurate. You are still you.
Right, just because he doesn't know anything about this shit yet, he still has to learn it.
The bonus to damage, is that a status bonus or what specifically?
Draconic Barrage status bonus.
That is just a bonus?
Yeah. If you wanted it to be half your level.
Okay, so that is just a straight flat bonus. Okay, so Draconic Barrage has been accounted for. Cursebound stuff is accounted for. Cursebound level 1 to 4. Cursebound level equals a negative penalty to saves and AC. So Cursebound 1 has a -1 to AC and saves etc. At Cursebound 4, gain Confusion. Any more focus points used also gain alright, so that actually resolves at end of turn should be the first bit of that. Gain Confusion resolves itself at end of turn. Any more focus points used while in Starlit Sentinel gains Confusion. That is the general text we have for this. I believe that is what we are.
Sounds about right.
Okay.
Mind you, you're giving Artomis a pretty big power boost by doing this. So maybe be willing to change it later down the line.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Going to adapt because he's supposed to be able to master this in the long run anyway.
But
Honestly?
if that rage gets mastered, I would assume it's probably not going to be as potent when you punch somebody. Gohan, losing himself, Super Saiyan 2 style, yeah, he was throwing hands with Cell hard, but when he finally got that energy kind of resolved, it was at a much more tempered state, but it wasn't as wild or crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty much what the outcome for Artie I had in mind was kind of like the Super Saiyan 2 Gohan moments.
Side, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah, if you wanted to make it more balanced, something you could do is make it so that it doesn't overshadow Mizu's Volna and the Rage, because currently Rage gives an extra 2 damage on every hit. This is like half your level added to damage is already pretty big. Something you could do is make it so the damage is equal to the curse-bound state itself, because you're not spending anything to get that extra damage at all. And then later down the line, if it feels like it needs another boost in power, because you mastered it, that's when you bust out the half level.
I would say at this point, it would be half curse-bound level equals to damage bonus. So right now, at this incredibly untempered point of this ability, your curse-bound level at half is equal, rounded up, is equal to the damage that you output. So at curse-bound 1 and 2, you get a +1 to damage. At curse-bound 3 and 4, you get a +2 to damage. That way it's on par with the Barbarian Rage, but doesn't overshadow it. Later down the line, he can get that limited to a way that it is just the straight curse-bound level equals the damage you output. And then finally, when he has it mastered, it is at its full form, all attacks and spells in the state gain 1/2 level equal to damage. So that way it also scales up with time, but it doesn't quickly rev past what Volna and the others have. It's not something undeserved.
Yeah, because you're already dealing extra damage with Starlit Sentinel form when you do strikes, which are, of course, yeah. And I believe you're currently using Spirit Warrior, which has even more. Like, it has even more big fucking range, punching somebody in the face from 60 feet away kind of abilities.
Okay, so we'll give it 3 different states this curse can be in. Trained, tempered, untrained, tempered, and trained. So untrained, all attacks and spells used in this state gain 1/2 curse-bound level 2 damage. Basically just copy that, and then tempered, gain curse-bound level 2 damage. And then in trained, half of level 2 damage. So, naturally, it has its limits. In its untrained state, it can only give a bonus of 2 damage. In a tempered state, it is a +4 to damage. In properly trained, it is 1/2 level to damage. That way, the amount it can scale goes from 2 to 4 to 10. And has a natural kind of growth progression before, petering out at where it ends.
Yeah, if you wanted like a suggestion of when to make those story beats happen, I think when people get Ancestry Feat is a pretty good idea. So like level 5, level 9, or level 13. What do you think?
Alright, I actually think that's great.
Yeah.
Because it makes sense, because he wouldn't be able to do everything or not be unaffected by curse from the beginning. There's no fucking way. Yeah, he would be affected by it no matter what. But as he learns how to perfect it and everything, I mean, yeah, it would make sense. And once he's mastered in it, he doesn't have to worry about the curse. He just gets the raw benefits.
Okay.
And that doubles also with making sense, because that's the levels where you get your Ancestry feats. So it's you're gaining a stronger connection with, the Lucario is gaining a stronger connection with their Lucario abilities. So it makes sense that it happens at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so then untrained, I will say, applies to creatures, or applies to levels 1 to 5, applies to levels 6 to 9. Applies to levels.
Wouldn't it be
6
1 to 4, 5 to 8?
Yeah.
Would be easier to do it the same way Pathfinder writes it, which is starting level 5, starting level 9,
Yeah,
starting level 13.
and then we just add one more being master, and it just says everything for the damage benefits, remove the curse.
Yeah, that would be like level 17, because that's when you
Yep.
get your last ancestry
Yep.
feat.
Which makes total fucking sense.
Honestly, this was actually very helpful for me as well, because I've been racking my brain for like months. I have no idea how to do Mega Evolution, but I think this gives me some pretty good ideas.
Yeah, because we're going to have to worry about that too. Because guess who can Mega Evolve? We're going to have fun.
Oh, I'm gonna get destroyed.
That's hot.
Okay.
We got 700 eggs, don't worry about it.
What was it, level 17?
Yeah, 17. 5, 9, 13, 17. Same as the ancestry feats.
Okay. The thing is, then, this shiny shift, if we have it starting level 5 on untrained, that means there has to be a level before untrained.
No, currently it's untrained. And then, like, at level 5, it's trained. And then at level 9, it, like, keeps progressing. And at level 17,
Well,
you just get rid of all the debuffs.
what we could do is we could make an expert rank in between trained and mastered, and it will have pretty much half the curse effects. So instead of losing 1 AC per curse level, it's half level, or yeah, like half
Okay.
what that is. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, I guess, or 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever.
So starting level 17. Ignore the effects of Cursebound. Completely.
Yeah,
And
for
then-
mastered, yeah.
And then in expert of it, starting level 13, all attacks and bonuses gain 1/2 of level damage bonus. Cursebound no
As well
longer
as-
inflicts confusion.
I mean, that's up to you on that one.
Given how much this is, like, just a free power boost, I don't think you should get rid of, like, too many debuffs or the confusion until level 17.
Yeah, that's why I said like I did, because I wasn't gonna say no. It's my character. I mean, I'll take any benefit I get.
Yeah,
but at the
yeah.
same time, it does sound OP for that. That's why I think like just having the AC reduction, saving throw reduction is enough.
Reductions to AC and saving throws have rounded up. So
So it'd be 1, 1, 2, 3.
yeah, so at level 1 you take a 1. At level 2 you still take a 1. At level 3 you take a 2. At level 4 you take a 2.
Yeah.
And yeah, that way each one still has a little bit of a penalty to them. They still have a little bit of a sting. But yeah. And then only at level 17, when you've gone through 2.5 years of campaigning with this character, do you get the ability to actually do this without...
I feel that's how it would work, though. He has to physically train himself to be able to get rid of that fucking just lust to kill.
Alright, I'm gonna take that. I've copied it, put it in this group chat, pinned it. But that helped out a lot, actually. Cool.
Yeah, I think this turned out a lot better than what it was.
Good. And
Yeah,
we could probably write this up to actually be like a formal feat in the app itself.
Question is, do you want to make it like a class feat or what? Like just a free feat?
I mean,
It'd probably just be a free feed at this point.
it would
Yeah,
be,
alright.
yeah, I mean, technically, if we were to implement it in Pokemon, it would be like an ancestry feat or something like that. Like, it's an ancestry feat everyone could take, or however Megas work or something along those lines. But this would be, like, rare. Like, This is like the ask the DM before becoming a Sparkle Dog.
Correct.
Thanks.
What? That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. You could also have something canonically as a feat as well, like a free feat of Shiny, where like you get a +2 to diplomacy, but it's a -1 to like AC or something horrible like that, because it's easy to figure out where you are because you're always fucking sparkling.
Like,
minus the AC though.
That'd be evil. No, -2 to stealth. Okay, I can see that.
yeah, no. I don't want to.
That's fair.
I really don't want to make feats for like shinies because like, what do you do when you got somebody like Sass, for example, where they've got a Buizel OC but they're red?
True.
Fair.
Yeah, there
Shiny's
are a lot
just
of
a color.
yeah. Shiny's just a color then.
Overall, it's not the shiny that's giving him the powers anyway. It's the other shit that he has gone through, which I am not saying for obvious reasons.
Yes, it's plot. Speaking of Continent of Steel, we were supposed to run today, but a couple people weren't feeling too hot, so we decided against it. Next session, I pretty much told you guys, but I'll tell the chat as well. The first half is basically just going to be doing the errands that they were. We were originally planning a short session where we had everyone gather by the table and do tabletop inside tabletop as like a one-shot thing. But unfortunately, the stars did not align that way, and I would rather progress the plot. But that doesn't mean that won't happen again. There may be an opportunity for us to do tabletop inside tabletop with characters pretending to be characters. Which I think will be a very fun experience for the few times we get to do that. I can't wait for Artie to scream out, "Abby, where's the Cheetos?"
I was waiting for it too. I was fully prepared.
Which means we're gonna have to build out a mini version of the K10 unit for Continent of Steel, or basically just run one-shots inside it with the people here that are able to attend. Which honestly, I think maybe the better solution is just have a group of one-shot characters that our players assume, and then I run a one-shot for everybody on weeks that we're like, oh hey, we're gonna be missing this person this week, but we still want to play.
Yeah, honestly, that'd be helpful. Also, if people like rotate characters every now and then, because something that I really desperately need is more people to help me test these ancestries.
That's the great thing, is basically we can have people be like, all right, we're running a one-shot next week. We're basically translating a book over to Pokemon, build out a character, and you show up with it, you know? Just throw some shit on the board and see what happens.
I think that'd be fun. I'm down for that.
It almost is like running a mini BBEG.
I was about to say, could we set these up in BBEG?
In theory, but
I don't
then
know about
also that,
in BBG, because, like, it's Frosty's whole thing.
not
True.
only that, but the main issue is having guest characters. In theory, we could have people show up as, like, members of the town joining these one-shot nights and have them appear as guests, which I think would be fun. That way we could get people like Vera or others involved that would like to join us for a one-shot.
More than anything, I think your assistant GMs
Mhm.
could benefit the most out of being guests, because, like, Bryce has tons of great ideas for the campaign. They just don't know all the intricacies and, like, how stupidly deep the system is, because it's, like, half a decade, or maybe even over a decade, of just, like, content.
Yep.
Oh yeah, fuck.
Oh my
this is
god,
huge.
wait a minute. Yeah, no, we could literally just have Reuven come on in and basically host a one-shot, and then I turn Abby, as I am the DM, is just like, is playing a character. I am DMing playing a character in a tabletop game. Like, that level of recursion deep, but that way I've slid alongside the table. But also, canonically, outside of that, Abby in Continent of Steel is a DM with some experience, so if Bryce has actual issues running the one-shot, in character, I can help him out. Which is really interesting recursion.
Yeah. It makes sense also because, like, the first thing I did as when you started sharing the books around is speed reading, grabs another book, speed reading.
It's just how you work anyway, come on.
Yes. Yes, that's me with my 60 Firefox tabs of various Pathfinder resources, sue me.
How do you exist? I have one Firefox tab open and you're seeing it.
They stop taking resources if I don't use them for like 10 minutes.
Side, I play City Skylines. I need every drop of RAM I can get in the bucket.
It's for research, Bryce.
On monosodium glutamate?
Yes. Hold up, let me see if there's an item for that.
So, I do have another question because I forgot about this.
Yeah?
Starlight Sentinel allows me to get a healing spell, which uses a focus point.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you would just do bonus healing instead of bonus damage.
Got it. That's what I figured, but I also figured I would ask.
Yeah.
It's healing pulse. Doesn't Lucario get an ability that's
Yes,
like...
I get heal pulse.
Yeah, they get a heal pulse, but also they get like a hidden ability that makes all pulse spells do more damage, I think.
I wish. If
God,
we,
which...
we get adaptability in Mega, but that's it.
I forget what the name of the ability was. Crawfish gets it in X and Y, and I don't know why.
Mega Launcher?
Launcher, yeah, Mega Launcher.
What the heck?
Because Mega Blastoise gets it too.
Yeah, so like anything that's a pulse spell, like Heal Pulse or Water Pulse, and for some reason
my
Aura
God.
Sphere.
You confused using heal pulse. Yeah, Lars brings up a good point. You could heal the enemies with it.
Yes, I could.
That's great. I love it.
You know, raw, that shouldn't work, but you know what? It makes sense.
It's Pokemon.
It's Pokemon.
Like, that's when I love
baby.
seeing people break the rules. It's when it's like, it shouldn't work that way, but it makes sense, so let's
Boots
do
the
it.
Abra.
Yeah.
It's a flat 16 HP, and heightened, it increases by 8 every +1 heightened.
So yeah, basically every level.
Damn,
Every-
that's not
every-
even a small amount.
Yeah, every spell level, pardon me.
Oh no, we're going against the Mega Blastoise. What do we do? I'm cursed 4. Everybody's down. I need to heal somebody. I heal the Blastoise.
You healed somebody.
No.
So, that's interesting. The other thing is, I do have to speak with Bryce, because we need to get you guys some neat loot for completing the mission. Honestly, I was
Yeah.
just going to hand y'all a big sack of cash and let you do what you want to do with it.
Yeah,
The
that was
EX file?
something. That was something I was talking with Bryce about. Like, they wanted to set up something special, like shop related,
Yeah.
which we can't really do if we just have access to the entire catalog of magic items.
Yeah, that's... I'm wondering
Like-
if we should restrict access to the catalog of magic items, at least for things that are higher rarities.
Honestly, like, the best way you could do it is you've got Tanks OC, the superior that sells tea in the market square, right?
Yes, that's how they want me to play them, I think.
Yeah, so like, you could just have them set up a shop, and if I say, I want to purchase this item, which is a potion, or an alchemical reagent, or a drug, that's where we would be able to say, yes, you have access to this item, because this NPC exists.
Okay, so basically
That's-
you start to get access to magical items through that.
Yeah, and if they don't have a shop yet, you could make a quest where we help them set up a shop. Then that, like, is a nice access requirement for the rest of the campaign.
Yeah.
I like that too, since we're supposed to be helping build up the city and fortify it and everything.
Mm-hmm. So your missions are obviously going to extend outside of the town as well. I'm hoping with the campaign in general, I give you guys, at least for the majority of it, a quite good balance between spending time in the primary town and interacting and exploring. Because remember, you are explorers, and there is a continent to explore. But also, Peridot Town is this huge town of 90 plus NPCs that you're going to want to eventually interact with and help build up, as it is the capital of the continent. So, I'm hoping to maintain a balance there with that, and find ways to make it so no matter where you are, you're always close to home, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, but that gives us all the more incentives to set up those little quests where it's like we help somebody set up a shop and all of a sudden, me, Tupta, very happy, gets to purchase a spell heart to put on my weapon.
Yeah.
Because currently, I don't think there's anybody where it makes sense for them to sell it.
Yeah. So, the Superior having interesting items from and rare oddities and bits and bubbles.
Yeah, no, I was thinking specifically tea, because, yes, that's an actual subcategory of potions called teas.
Huh. Okay.
And then
So-
you could also make them sell alchemical items that you drink,
Oh,
and yada yada yada.
oh my god, you know what store I just thought of?
Yeah?
You know that one store in the mall that has a lot of tea stuff, but also sells a lot of weird knickknacks from, like, Asia and whatnot?
That's perfect, because there's another...
It really is!
Yeah, there's another, like, subtype of items called fulus, which are charms from Tiangsha that you attach to your weapons, and then they do stuff,
So
and they
it
burn
would
out.
just be a vendor of all of that tat and tea.
Like, that's literally how you can set it up. See, there is a lot of fun to be had when you limit the amount of items people can get.
So basically, at the start, they'll offer just the tea potions, but as you assist in building up the okay. It has more and more of a wider repertoire of tat you can find, including, you know, rare katanas that they always keep behind the counter, and shit like that. That mall ninja shit. Tank, we were just talking about you. Tank,
Hi, Tank.
we figured out the job of your snake.
You know what? Let me just share a link to the list of teas. There's not a whole lot, but I think it's very fitting for their character. There's exactly 7, apparently.
They're gonna be running one of these, like, cheap mall Asian gift stores that sells, like, tea products and mall katanas. And, like, little charms and whatnot. And you'll basically be the magic item vendor.
AKA, we'll probably be seeing your character a lot.
Yes.
And there's so many, like, subtypes of magic items that, like, you can't say somebody sells all of them, but they could sell this one. Yeah, just share the link. Like, the fulus are the ones I was talking about, where it's a charm from Asia that you attach to shit.
Tank, that's the beautiful thing. You control the quality of the goods.
Exactly.
It's your store. You're not out to
Exactly.
scam people, you're actually out to help them.
Uh-huh. So fulus are spendable items. They
Yeah.
like consume on use, which is why they're so cheap, but also like later on they're, you know, kind of big. But you would have access to fulus, to teas, and to magical items through the shop. Basically, you would get access to teas on the first level of the shop. Second level of the shop, you get access to fulus. Third level of the shop, you have access to spell hearts, and fourth, you have access to magical items.
I don't know. Like I said, there's so many big varieties of like magical items. Like, if you scroll back up on that page, like You can see there's bottled breath, there's Fulu, there's gadgets, there's magical ammunition, there's missives, oils, other consumables, potions, scrolls, spell catalysts, talismans, tea! You can't say one person sells all of these. That's why it feels more special if we help like people set up the town.
True.
And then if I say Tupta wants to purchase a spell heart, which is an attachment to a weapon that casts a spell, that's when you're like, I can think of a good NPC that could sell those, but you're gonna have to help them.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Is like we have a potion vendor, well, we have a couple potion vendors, but we have an alchemical ingredients vendor, a potion vendor, a baker, a blacksmith. We don't specifically have. I'm immediately just thinking of like 14, like leather worker, jeweler, blacksmith, armorer, engineer. Like there are so many like little like sub jobs that we can build out in the town. The other problem is, oh dear God, building out all of those goddamn jobs in the town. That's a lot of flavor we have to add in, because we've already done 90 NPCs worth of flavor, and that doesn't even cover stuff like this. We don't have anything for runes yet, besides the type changing runes that we've been feeding you. Well, fed you one, but
Yeah, that's why I was thinking, like, as we upgrade the blacksmith, they have access to more runes, And that's how you can block us from progressing higher than we're supposed to as well.
I mean, the other thing is, the available items in the town are only linked to the highest level that you guys are. So, if naturally things go as according to plan, as I hope that the general plot and progression of the system goes, your leveling up of the town naturally allows it to have a wider array of higher quality goods.
Yeah, that's basically how I think Kingmaker is supposed to work as you upgrade your own town.
Yeah, because I wanted to basically try and use the good parts of Kingmaker without using all of the thousands of pages of town building and warfare that's very convoluted.
Hi, we're on Foundry. It's automated.
It is, but also I don't want to subject anyone else through going through that. As somebody who is adequately familiar with it, I understand, but also there's a reason that I gave the city building duty to my self-insert, because she's just gonna handle it as efficiently as possible, as long as she's not like getting beaten up in a cave somewhere.
But yeah, no, that's I think just looking at that list up there, like all the way at the top where it says like figureheads, crafts, and whatnot, like I'm with the 90 NPCs, I'm certain there's somebody that could make vehicles, for example. I don't know when we would ever use them, but there's surely somebody in the town.
Is, yeah. Like, I have my secrets document, which I can't show on stream, but of the NPCs that we have, well, we have like 10 NPCs for the tavern, 5 for the farm. Of our merchants, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 specific merchants. So people with jobs extend to 1, 2, 3 more on top of that, 4 more. There's some general citizens that don't really have much. There's a lot of NPC cameos.
Yeah,
but there's also people who are directly involved with the various guilds as well, like members of the Shield, the Souls, the Keepers, the Geologists, stuff like that. So
yeah, that's kind of what I would say is a good idea, is taking some of these cameos and saying, this person runs this shop now. You don't need to roleplay them. You don't need to do anything with them. You could just put them in there to say, if a player wants to purchase a customization for their gun or a shield, somebody that's like a shield specialist, that's who they go to.
Exactly.
Like, honestly, there's Bryce's OC that's got the Hone Edge, like, on their back. If I think about magical weapons, who would be selling those? That would be them, for example.
Yeah. Yeah, because total NPCs we have between what we have created, what was submitted as cameos, and what you guys had linked in your story, we are at exactly 100 right now.
Honestly, that's way more than you need.
I mean, these are also, like, roles that you guys will specifically interact with, or characters that we're at least building a blanket, like, idea of who they are. Like, so that way, if something like the random Wingull that you guys shoot out of the air, suddenly you guys bond with.
My bad.
You didn't shoot him, it was the cap.
No, I
but-
bonded with it.
Yes, but if you bonded with him, I don't have to think of a name on the spot and a personality up on the spot. I got something for him.
I tried to invite Leclerc to the party. The mayor's a dum-dum.
But yeah, like, there's at least some baseline and idea. The issue is also there's gonna be stuff we miss, so I'm gonna have to have a couple wild card things out there of like, oh yeah, you can just get that here. I don't know where, but like, it's something very like, oh, I forgot to specifically list out like a person selling scrolls. You could just find somebody who does that because they're a very common item in terms of tabletop, but I don't want to slap together something on the fly. I want to build it out and have something actually definitively there.
That's another thing also, is you could have a quest for all of the existing merchants. That's like, we expanded our inventory to include this category of items, rather than making new shops all the time.
Pretty much. And that's what we have with the merchants, is you guys getting bringing back items to increase their catalog of items, but to also give you interesting different items as well. So that way you have personal investment because, oh hey, this specific sword you got is Continent of Steel like only. You can't not, like, this has like the ability of, like, the sword hits with dragon typing or something, because you've enchanted it that way because of something unique in this game that you have gotten from it too. And I like having that little interpersonal connection there too. Of like, oh hey, I am eating a unique baked treat from Clover, and that gives me a buff that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise, because like I have done these things in this game and done these certain like pathways. I like doing that stuff too. So it's just making sure that that's kind of balanced with all the other stuff too. Would clearing routes out in the wilds not naturally develop safer trade routes between places in the continent? That is also true. Because as they established with Clarabelle's group. Clarabelle's group now properly is trading with Peridot. So Peridot would have access to items that Clarabelle's more naturalist tribe uses and runs with. So things that are more like, I would say, herbal medicines and whatnot, the town now has access to because those traders are coming in and selling their wares.
See, actually, that could be something that you say is unlocked by us doing that, is oils.
Yeah.
Like under the consumables list.
Are those like herbal oils or like...
Yeah, it's
Oh.
basically, if you go under consumables and then under oils, it tells you that it's like taking a potion, but then making it so you don't have to drink it, it's applied to your skin instead.
Weapon
And
weird
like
oil.
it's all a bunch of like herbal shit. Or like stuff that lights on fire, or stuff made from plants, nectar, etc.
Oh.
Like that could be the first thing you say. You've unlocked this category of items. It could just literally be the category here on Archives of Nephis called oils.
So basically, I would need to build out a sheet on the in the secrets doc and in the public doc of here are all the different types of items. Here is what is unlocked and who has got this item or how you are getting this item. Here these items are limited, and here these items are not available yet.
Yeah, it's a lot of effort, I know, but like, it's honestly just copy-pasting a bunch of this stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, I could do it for you right now. Honestly, right?
You've got it's 6:16, side.
Yeah.
Isn't your thing at 6?
Yep, but they haven't finished their other one, so I'm waiting for them.
Okay. I mean, honestly, that list would be appreciated. Wait, wouldn't it just be under all? Oh, all item bonuses. Doesn't actually give out the full, like... Oh. Okay, adjustments.
Oh shit! I gotta make
Yeah.
sure I got Azure ready for tomorrow.
You should. You're gonna be level 3 tomorrow after it.
Thank fucking god.
I know, right? I can't wait to level up. I'll get there.
Yeah. Like, for example, if you click alchemical items, there's a bunch of sub-categories where it's like bombs and drinkables, mutagens. Like, I could compile a list of all that for you. It's just copy-pasting after clicking all those links, but yeah. A lot of the time, they're literally just traits on the items, so it makes it easier to search, but yeah.
Okay.
Like, adjustments, for example, is something that you attach to your armor, your shields, your weapons, etc. That's obviously something the blacksmith would do after we do
Yeah.
a quest for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like once we start getting some more rare ore, like he can turn those into like these kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like spell hearts is definitely a weird one because it's like a gemstone you attach to your weapon and it does magic bullshit. So I don't know who would sell that exactly, but once you know whomst, that's when you could say they either open a shop or they help a local shop start providing this service.
Okay, so it's basically just a lot of busy work. The great thing is, when Artie's doing their one-shot tomorrow, I can do a lot of this busy work. So, I can build this out.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm
thank you,
also
Side.
yeah, I'm
Think
also
of things.
gonna cut out. I'm gonna cut out stuff that's like obviously I cannot purchase this as an item kind of deal, where it's like I cannot purchase a toll for a bridge. That's not a thing. That's under services.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna cut out and leave it to like just actual items.
Yep, that's fine. Okay, then I don't know if I've got much more than that in the tank. That's the thing.
Yeah, no, you should be taking a break. You've been live for actually it's only been 2 hours, but nearly 3 hours, but still.
Almost
Nearly
3, but not
hours.
2.
Usually about when I pause. Yeah. I don't know.
I'll leave you be to end of.
Oh, okay. Well, you have a good one shot. All right, hun.
Take care.
Thank you for coming on and joining us out of the moment.
Yeah, thank
Very
you, Side.
appreciated. Side's such a good bean. Go follow Side Effect. Shout out. Side Effect _ That's their Twitch username, right?
Yes.
Making sure before I shout out somebody different. Give Side a follow if you haven't been already. They're a wonderful, lovely, good friend. They play a lot of fun games. They're branching out into new games too. Definitely give them some love. If you like Yakuza, if you like Nerdy Dragons, if you like Massive Tales. Sounds like most people's kind of general assortment of package. Most people like this. Most people in my community are in this wheelhouse.
I do this.
I do this.
I get shouted out.
Speaking of shouting people out, Lars is a wonderful streamer as well, and a beautiful, adorable Charmander kobold.
Yes.
If you like kobolds, if you like Charmanders, if you like good friends. Also, hi, Dia. You been? Lars Lars Inside often do a lot of collabs too. They're wonderful. So give them some love. I can't give them a shout out, but here you can just do this. And now you can click on that dragon in chat and follow them. Unless you're on YouTube, at which point, I don't know. If you're on YouTube, why haven't you made a Twitch account and come over to this? I don't know, unless it's a VOD. If it's a VOD and you're listening to it in the past, in the future, good luck. We're counting on you.
We're counting on you.
We're counting on you. Anyway, let's go drop a raid on a friend of the stream who was here a little bit ago. Specifically, Guildmaster Senna doing their static.
Yeah.
If you don't know Senna, they are a wonderful Wa and also adorable trans girl who definitely deserves some wonderful love, but is also just a fantastic bean. And is currently doing some savage fights with their static. Senna is good people. Y'all should go give them a watch. And a wah. But thank you all for coming by and showing up. If you are subscribed to the channel, when we raid through, hit Senna with hit the Abby breakdance. Where is it? There it is. Just Control A, Control V, a bunch of these. There we go. Copy all those. Thanks for the stream. I've only watched a couple of minutes. Oh. Well, I hope you enjoyed the couple of minutes while you were here, and yeah, don't be afraid to come back when you can. But that'll be it for us today. Thank you guys for coming out and watching. I don't know if I'll be live tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how things go and how all that falls through. Artie, I don't know. I mean, you could see if you want to be live tomorrow for your thing.
I ain't too worried about it.
That's fine. But either way, we'll be back Monday on Artie's stream. Artie will be streaming Final Fantasy Tactics with a familiar group of friends.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the return of the council.
It's gonna be fun.
It is. It is. So I might be live tomorrow, might not. We'll see. But thank you all for coming out and watching. It's always awesome streaming for you all. And we'll see you guys next time.
On this thing?
That we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night, guys.
Good night.